Hi guys, so another misconception that I've heard that people have when it comes to the Quran is that they say that a woman's testimony in a court of law is worth half of a man's. And this misconception comes from the verse of the Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 282. That is chapter 2, verse 282. And in this verse, Allah speaks about how to deal or how to handle oneself, or what is the correct etiquette when contracting a debt or when making a transaction with someone. You are encouraged, according to this verse, to write down the contract. So in this procedure, Allah says that you should also have witnesses present so that they can witness the transaction that is happening between the two of you. As for the witnesses, وَاسْتَشْهِدُوا شَهِيدَيْنِ مِنْ رِجَالِكُمْ, and call to witness two from among your men. It's very interesting here that he says call to witness two from among your men. It doesn't say call to witness two men. Rather, it says call to witness two from among your men, which means that this kind of dealing usually and predominantly took place among men. It was among men that this is actually happening. Then it says فَإِن لَمْ يَكُونَ رَجُلَيْنِ, but if there are not two men, فَرَجُلٌ, then one man, وَمُرَأَتَانِ, and two women, مِمَّنْ تَرُضَوْنَ مِنَ الشُّهَدَاءِ, from among those with whom you are pleased from the witnesses. أن تضل إحداهما فتذكر إحداهما الأخرى, so that if one of them errs, i.e. one of the women makes a mistake, then the other one can remind her. This verse has been taken to mean that, you see, the Quran says that a woman is deficient, or a woman needs to bring another one with her in order to bear witnesses. But this is absolutely false, you see, because the verse clearly tells you what is the objective of the other woman. You see, when you look at the other woman is actually not there to bear testimony. The other woman's job there is to what? Is to remind. That's it. She's not there to bear testimony. She's only there to back up the other woman. She's only there to lend support to the other woman so that she is not overwhelmed in a group of men. That is the purpose. That's why Allah says that if one of them errs, in other words, because this is a dealing that is happening and taking place among men. So a woman to actually go into that kind of field or go into that kind of surrounding and that kind of sitting, that she might feel intimidated, and so she might not get to speak to the point. So because of the way the society was structured at the time, Allah says that, okay, because there is opportunity for this to happen, Allah says then she can bring another woman with her, and that woman, if it does happen that she gets intimidated and then she can't speak, that other woman can remind her, can support her, can encourage her, can be there to back her up, to support her. So she reminds her, she makes sure that she doesn't make mistakes in her testimony. This is not because a woman is deficient in her knowledge or in her testimony. Rather, it's merely because of the intimidation factor that might arise when a woman is standing in that sort of surrounding. Even today, we even have the same thing today, that in male-dominated societies, when you watch, for example, the proceedings between men and women, you would understand that women tend to be shy and they tend to be bashful, for example. So in this kind of situation, a woman can feel intimidated. So Allah encourages that another woman is there to back her up. The other woman is not there to bear testimony. That's not what her job is. Her job or her objective is simply to remind this one woman. That's it. Now, that being explained, the other part that can actually back up this verse, okay, and show that the Quran is actually not perpetuating this kind of view, is that we can use the verse in Surah Nur, for example. Allah in that verse tells us of a situation in which a man, for example, accuses another woman of having committed adultery. So this woman, she has nobody but herself, for example, to back her up, and that man is accusing the woman without having any witnesses. So he doesn't have four witnesses, it is just himself. He's accusing her. Then what is supposed to happen? Okay, so you have one man, one witness, and one woman, one witness. That's it. But you are required normally to have four witnesses with you when you are bearing testimony. So what is he supposed to do? Allah tells us that that man, he is supposed to swear 4 times that she is guilty, that he saw her do this, she committed the crime. So he's supposed to swear that. Then a 5th time he's supposed to swear that the anger or the curse of Allah would be upon him if he's lying. Then comes the part of the woman, and Allah tells the woman that she is supposed to bear testimony the exact same amount of times. وَيَدْرَأُ عَنْهَا الْعَذَابِ, and she wards off, she removes from herself the punishment, and tashhada arba'a shahadat, that she bears testimony 4 times by Allah. So she bears testimony, swearing by God 4 times that he, the man, is actually lying. Then a 5th time, wal khamisata, and a 5th time, an ghadab Allahi alayha, that the anger of Allah is going to be upon her if he, i.e. the man, was of those who are truthful. So if he's correct and truthful in his saying, then the anger of Allah is going to be upon her, because now that means that she was guilty and the man was actually telling the truth. So in this situation, if it is true, as you say, or as people say, that a woman's testimony is only worth half of a man, then what we would be seeing here is that a woman would be bearing testimony how many times? 8 times to begin with, then 2 more times. She would be bearing testimony 10 times if it was true that a woman's testimony is only half of that of a man. Yet the Quran specifically tells us in this case that no, it's just that they bear testimony equal amounts of times, which means that the other verse that we saw before that has been misunderstood must be read in accordance to its context, that it is only and only speaking about the women who do what? Who are engaged in this kind of unfamiliar, surrounding, unfamiliar setting, such as when business transactions were actually taking place. This was a male-dominated field at the time. You didn't have multiple women there. You didn't have many women in those kinds of settings, in those kinds of proceedings. So a woman might be intimidated when she is surrounded by all those men, and she might forget something. This happens a lot of time in court when someone is pulled onto the stand and has to bear testimony, and the lawyer, for example, is grilling them, or if, for example, they see someone in the court that maybe might intimidate them or something, so they are reluctant to actually bear the correct testimony. So because she would be shy in bearing testimony, another woman is required to be there, okay, to help out, to make sure that that woman keeps her spirits up. So all that, only in that situation was it required for there to be 2 women. But the other woman's job is not there to bear testimony. Rather, it is merely to remind. That's it. So her testimony is not included into the actual witnesses and the actual testimony. She's not there to bear testimony. She's just there to back up. That's it. So no, the saying that 2 women's testimony is equal to 1 man's testimony, no, that is not true. It is 1 woman and 1 woman. The other woman is merely there to back the other woman up. That's it. I hope that cleared up everything. Have a fantastic night, and I will be back again with another video explaining some more verses of the Quran that have been misunderstood. Thank you very much.